I was sitting at a celebration dinner at the Capitol Grill in Denver, Colorado, on a Saturday night in October 2024, watching my entire family applaud my younger brother. Marcus had just announced he'd been accepted to Stanford's MBA program, full scholarship, starting January 2025. Everyone was ecstatic. My mother was crying happy tears. My father was shaking Marcus's hand like he'd just won the Nobel Prize. My aunt and uncle were raising their glasses for the third toast of the night. To Marcus, my uncle said, his voice booming across our private dining room, who worked so hard and achieved his dreams completely on his own. On his own, those three words hit me like a slap. My mother beamed at Marcus. We're so proud of you, sweetheart. You did this all by yourself, no help. No handouts, just pure determination and hard work. Marcus smiled, humble, gracious. Thanks, Mom, I really couldn't have done it without your support. Emotional support, she clarified, but the achievement. That's all you, baby? Everyone nodded, agreed, celebrated the self-made success of Marcus Chen, 26 years old, about to attend one of the world's most prestigious business schools, all on his own. I sat there, silent, sipping my water, watching the performance. My phone buzzed in my pocket, a reminder I'd set for myself. I pulled it out, checked the screen, and made a decision. I opened an app, navigated to a specific account, and pressed one button. Cancel. Confirmation appeared. Are you sure you want to cancel this recurring payment? I pressed yes. Within 30 seconds, Marcus's phone buzzed. He pulled it out, looked at the screen, his face went pale. What's wrong? My mother asked. I just got an email from Stanford. Something about my scholarship. What about it? It says there's been an administrative issue. They need to review my application again. My father frowned. Review it? Why? Marcus was frantically typing on his phone, reading emails. His hands were shaking. I don't know. It says something about discrepancies in my financial aid application. They're asking me to verify some information. The table went quiet, confused, concerned. I took another sip of water, said nothing. Because I knew exactly what was happening. I knew exactly what that email meant. And I knew that within 48 hours, my brother's Stanford scholarship was going to disappear. Because the scholarship he'd earned all on his own, I'd paid for it. Every single penny. Before I tell you how I secretly funded my brother's entire education without anyone knowing, why I did it, and what happened when the truth came out, please like this video and let me know in the comments where you're listening from. Because this is a story about what happens when the forgotten child finally stops helping and the golden child has to stand on his own. My name is Rebecca Lynn Chen. I'm 32 years old. And I need to tell you what it's like to be invisible in your own family. I grew up in Denver, Colorado, in a middle-class Chinese-American family. My father, Richard Chen, was an accountant. My mother, Susan Chen, was a school administrator. Comfortable income. Nice house in the suburbs, 2 kids, me, and my younger brother Marcus. I was born in 1992. Marcus was born in 1998, 6 years apart. From the moment Marcus came into the world, the dynamic shifted. I went from being the center of my parents' attention to being the caretaker, the responsible one, the one who didn't need as much. When I was 6 and Marcus was a newborn, my mother would tell me, Rebecca, you're the big sister now. You need to help take care of your brother. When I was 10 and Marcus was 4, my parents started missing my school events because Marcus had activities. Rebecca understands, they'd say. She's mature for her age. When I was 16 and Marcus was 10, I was cooking dinner 3 nights a week because my parents were at Marcus's soccer games. I didn't complain. I was the good daughter. The responsible one, the one who understood. I did well in school, straight A's, honor roll, National Honor Society. I was smart, driven, and capable, but my achievements were expected, not celebrated. When I got accepted to University of Colorado Boulder in 2010 with a partial academic scholarship, my parents said, "That's great, Rebecca, we knew you could do it." No party, no celebration dinner, just acknowledgement. Meanwhile, when Marcus made the middle school basketball team that same year, we had a family celebration at his favorite restaurant. The pattern was set. My successes were expected. Marcus's successes were miracles. I went to CU Boulder and majored in computer science. Graduated in 2014 with a 3.8 GPA. Got a job as a software engineer at a tech startup in Denver making $65,000 a year. My parents were proud, but again, it was expected. Of course, Rebecca got a good job. She's always been so responsible. Marcus, meanwhile, was the star, captain of his high school basketball team, straight a student. Accepted to CU Boulder in 2016. My parents threw him a graduation party, invited 50 people, spent $3,000 on catering and decorations. For my high school graduation, we'd gone to Olive Garden, just the four of us. When Marcus started college, my parents helped him with expenses, paid for his apartment, gave him spending money, made sure he had everything he needed. When I'd been in college, I'd worked 2 part-time jobs to cover what my scholarship didn't. My parents had helped a little, but mostly I was on my own. Rebecca is so independent, my mother would say. She doesn't need our help like Marcus does. In 2018, I got promoted, senior software engineer, salary jumped to $95,000. I was 26 years old and doing really well. My parents said congratulations, then immediately asked if I could loan Marcus money for a study abroad program in Spain. I gave him $3,000, never got paid back. In 2020, I got recruited by a major tech company, software architect position, salary $140,000 a year plus stock options. I was 28 and financially secure. Own my own condo in downtown Denver, had savings, investments. I'd worked hard and built a good life. My parents were happy for me, but the very next conversation was about Marcus. He was graduating college in 2020. Had applied to several jobs, wasn't getting offers. The economy is tough right now, my father said. Companies aren't hiring, Marcus is struggling. He should keep applying, I said. It takes time. Could you talk to your company? See if they're hiring, maybe you could refer him. I did, got Marcus an interview. He bombed it. Showed up unprepared, didn't research the company, gave vague answers. He didn't get the job. My parents blamed the company. They clearly weren't a good fit for Marcus's talents. Over the next year, Marcus bounced between jobs, quit 3 different positions because they were beneath him or not aligned with his goals. Meanwhile, I was thriving. Got another promotion in 2021, Director of Engineering. Salary $185,000 a year, and that's when Marcus decided he wanted to get an MBA. In August 2021, Marcus announced at Sunday family dinner that he wanted to go to business school. I've been thinking about my career, he said. I need an MBA to really succeed. I want to apply to top programs. Stanford, Harvard, Wharton. My mother was thrilled. That's wonderful, you'd be amazing in business school. My father nodded. Those are competitive programs, but you're smart enough, you can do it. I stayed quiet, ate my food, listened. The applications are expensive though, Marcus continued. Application fees, GMAT prep courses, admissions, consulting. It's going to cost about $10,000 just to apply. My mother looked concerned. That's a lot of money. I know. But it's an investment in my future. They both turned to me. I felt it before they even said anything. Rebecca, my father said, you're doing so well financially. Could you help your brother with the application costs? As a loan, of course. Of course. How much do you need? I asked Marcus. $10,000 would cover everything. GMAT course, application fees, admissions, consultant, interview prep. I looked at my parents. They were both watching me expectantly, like this was my responsibility, my duty as the older, more successful sibling. Fine, I'll transfer the money tomorrow. Marcus smiled. Thanks, sis, I'll pay you back once I graduate and get a high-paying job. Sure he would. Over the next 6 months, I watched Marcus prepare for business school, expensive GMAT course. Private admissions consultant charging $300 an hour, professional resume writer, interview coach, all funded by me. He took the GMAT in February 2022, scored a 710. Good, but not exceptional. He applied to Stanford, Harvard, Wharton, MIT, and Columbia. 5 schools. 5 application fees at $300 each, plus fees to send GMAT scores, plus fees for transcripts. All on my credit card. In April 2022, the rejection letters started arriving. Harvard rejected, Wharton rejected, MIT rejected, Columbia waitlisted, then rejected. Stanford waitlisted. Marcus was devastated. My mother cried. My father gave speeches about how the admissions process was flawed and biased. "These schools don't recognize real talent," my father said. "Marcus is better than all those other applicants." I suggested Marcus get a few years of work experience and reapply. That's what most successful MBA applicants did. "He shouldn't have to wait," my mother said. "He deserves to go now." Stanford's waitlist turned into a rejection in June 2022. Marcus decided to reapply for the next cycle. Another round of applications. Another $10,000 in expenses, which I paid. Again, by now I'd invested over $25,000 in Marcus's MBA dream, not counting the $3,000 for his study abroad that I'd never gotten back. Meanwhile, my parents had contributed $0, but they got all the credit for being supportive. Round 2 of applications went out in fall 2022. Same schools, same process, this time different results. Stanford. Interview invitation. Harvard, rejected. Wharton, interview invitation. MIT, rejected. Columbia, rejected. The Stanford interview was in January 2023. Marcus flew to California, stayed in a nice hotel. All expenses paid by guess who. He came back optimistic. "I think it went really well." In March 2023, Stanford sent their decision. Accepted, conditional on financing. The condition: Marcus needed to prove he could afford the program. Stanford's MBA costs about $120,000 per year, 2 years, $240,000 total. Stanford offered Marcus a partial scholarship. $20,000 per year, $40,000 total. That left $200,000 to cover. My parents looked at the offer letter in horror. "We can't afford this," my father said. "Even with the scholarship, it's too much." Marcus looked crushed. "So I can't go?" "We'll figure something out," my mother said. "Maybe loans. I'd need a cosigner," Marcus said. "My credit isn't good enough on my own." They both looked at me. I knew what was coming. "Rebecca, could you cosign for Marcus's student loans?" $200,000 in debt, attached to my credit, my financial future. For a brother who'd never paid me back for anything, I opened my mouth to say no, to finally say no, but then I saw Marcus's face. Desperate, hopeful, this was his dream, and I saw my parents' faces. Expectant. Like this was the obvious solution, like I owed this to the family. I said yes, but I added a condition. "I'll cosign, but I need to see the loan documents. I need to make sure Marcus can afford the payments after graduation." "Of course," Marcus said. "I'll make plenty of money after Stanford. I'll be able to pay everything back easily." Famous last words. Over the next month, I worked with Marcus on his financial aid applications. We applied for every scholarship Stanford offered, every grant, every possible source of funding. And I did something else, something none of them knew about. I created a shell company, called it Chen Educational Fund LLC, made it look like a private scholarship foundation. And I had that company offer Marcus a full-ride scholarship to Stanford, $160,000 over 2 years, covering everything Stanford's partial scholarship didn't. The offer came in May 2023. Marcus was ecstatic. "I got a private scholarship, some educational fund for Chinese American students. They're covering everything." My parents were thrilled, called everyone they knew, bragged about how Marcus had earned a full scholarship to Stanford. "He did this all on his own," my mother kept saying. "We didn't help him financially at all. This is all Marcus's achievement." I sat there at that celebration dinner in May 2023, listening to them rewrite history. They'd forgotten about the $25,000 I'd paid for applications and prep, forgotten about the $3,000 for study abroad, forgotten about all the times I'd helped Marcus over the years. In their story, Marcus was self-made, a brilliant student who'd earned everything through hard work, and I was just Rebecca, the responsible older sister who'd done well for herself. Nobody knew that I was paying $160,000 for Marcus's Stanford MBA. Nobody knew I'd set up automatic payments from my personal account to Stanford University, routed through the shell company to look like scholarship funds. Nobody knew that the Chen Educational Fund was just me, draining my savings and stock options to pay for my brother's dream. I told myself I was doing it because I loved him, because I wanted him to succeed. But really, I was doing it because I'd been trained my whole life to sacrifice for Marcus, to be the responsible one, to take care of him, and I was tired, so tired of being invisible. Marcus started at Stanford in September 2023. He moved to Palo Alto, got an apartment with 2 roommates, and dove into the MBA program. The first few months, he'd call home every week. Tell my parents about his classes, his networking events, his case competitions. My mother would put him on speakerphone at Sunday dinners so we could all hear about his wonderful life. Stanford is amazing, Marcus would say. The caliber of students here is incredible. I'm learning so much. We're so proud of you, my mother would reply. You earned this. I'd sit there eating my dinner, thinking about the $8,000 payment I just sent to Stanford to cover Marcus's tuition for the month. In November 2023, Marcus came home for Thanksgiving, family dinner, extended family, cousins, aunts, uncles, grandparents. Marcus held court, told stories about Stanford, about his study group, about the companies recruiting on campus, about the amazing opportunities. Are you doing any internships? My uncle asked. I'm applying for summer internships at top consulting firms. McKinsey, Bain, Boston Consulting Group. Those internships pay about $40,000 for the summer. $40,000 for 3 months? My aunt was impressed. Yeah, and it's basically a guaranteed job offer after graduation. Starting salary around $175,000. Everyone oohed and awed. The golden child was going to be rich. My grandmother turned to me. Rebecca, how is your job going? Good, busy. We just launched a new product. That's nice. She turned back to Marcus. Tell me more about these consulting firms. I was used to it, being the opening act before Marcus's main performance. After dinner, I was in the kitchen washing dishes. Marcus came in to get another beer from the fridge. Hey, thanks for cautioning those loans, he said casually. I know it was a big ask. You're welcome. I'll pay you back for all the application stuff too. Once I get my signing bonus from whichever firm I join. Sure. He didn't know there were no loans, didn't know I was paying cash for everything. You know, you should think about getting an MBA too, Marcus said. You're doing well, but imagine how much better you could do with a Stanford MBA. I turned to look at him. I make $185,000 a year. I'm a director at a major tech company. I don't need an MBA. I'm just saying you could do more, aim higher. I am aiming high, I'm already successful. Successful for a tech worker, sure, but imagine being a CEO or a founder, that's real success. I went back to washing dishes, didn't respond, because if I responded, I was going to tell him the truth, that I was funding his entire Stanford education, that his real success was built on my actual success. But I stayed quiet. Like always, Marcus went back to Stanford in December. Winter quarter started in January 2024. The payments continued, $8,000 a month like clockwork, from my account through the shell company to Stanford. Nobody knew, nobody asked. Nobody wondered where the Chen Educational Fund money came from. In February 2024, Marcus called with news. I got the McKinsey internship, summer in their San Francisco office. $40,000 for 12 weeks. My parents threw another celebration, called more family members, posted on Facebook about Marcus's achievement. Still no mention of me, no acknowledgement that I'd made any of this possible. In April 2024, I got another promotion, Vice President of Engineering. Salary $230,000 a year plus significant stock options. I was 32 years old. Running a department of 45 engineers, managing multi-million-dollar projects. My parents said congratulations over text message, then immediately asked if I could help pay for Marcus's summer housing in San Francisco. The internship doesn't include housing, my father explained, and San Francisco rent is expensive, maybe $2,000 a month for a room. I wanted to scream. I was already paying $8,000 a month for his Stanford tuition. Now they wanted another $2,000 for rent, but I said yes, because that's what I always did. Summer 2024, Marcus did his McKinsey internship, posted Instagram photos of San Francisco, Golden Gate Bridge, tech company campus visits, fancy dinners with other interns, all while I paid his rent, and his Stanford tuition, and his living expenses. In August 2024, he got the McKinsey return offer, full-time position starting after graduation in June 2025. Starting salary $175,000, signing bonus $30,000. My parents were ecstatic, called it Marcus's greatest achievement yet. I paid his August tuition payment, $8,000. Another month of Stanford funded by invisible Rebecca. By September 2024, I'd paid $128,000 toward Marcus's MBA. 1 year down, 1 year to go. $32,000 left to pay, plus his living expenses for the final year. And then, in October 2024, something changed. The breaking point came at Sunday family dinner on October 13, 2024. Marcus was home for a long weekend, visiting from Stanford. My mother had made a big dinner, invited my aunt and uncle, made all of Marcus's favorite dishes. We were sitting around the table when Marcus made an announcement. "I have some news, some really exciting news." Everyone stopped eating. Looked at him. "I've been nominated for the Stanford MBA Student Leadership Award. It's given to one student each year who exemplifies academic excellence, leadership, and personal integrity." My mother gasped. "Marcus, that's incredible. The award comes with a $10,000 prize and your name on a plaque in the business school building, permanently." My father was beaming. "This is a tremendous honor. What do you have to do to win?" "I have to give a presentation to a committee about my journey to Stanford, how I overcame obstacles, how I financed my education despite coming from a modest background, how I succeeded through pure determination." My fork stopped halfway to my mouth. "Pure determination," I heard myself say. Everyone turned to look at me. "You have something to say, Rebecca?" my mother asked. Just wondering what obstacles Marcus overcame, what struggles he's referring to. Marcus looked confused. "Well, you know, paying for Stanford, it's expensive. I had to piece together scholarships and loans and work really hard to make it happen." "Scholarships," I repeated. "Plural?" "Yeah, the partial one from Stanford and the big one from that Chen educational fund." "Right, that educational fund. Tell me more about that." "I don't know much about it. Some private foundation for Chinese American students. They selected me based on merit. It's been a huge blessing." "A blessing." My mother jumped in. "Marcus worked so hard on those scholarship applications. He really earned that funding." I put down my fork, looked at my mother. "He earned it." "Yes." Unlike some programs that just give money away, this one recognized Marcus's actual talent and potential. Unlike some programs, a dig at my academic scholarship from years ago, maybe. "And you're proud of him," I said, "for earning this on his own." "Of course we are." My father raised his glass. "To Marcus, who achieved his dreams through hard work and determination. No handouts, no help, just pure effort." Everyone raised their glasses. I didn't. "Rebecca, aren't you going to toast your brother?" my aunt asked. "In a minute, I'm just curious about something. Marcus, have you ever wondered about this Chen Educational Fund, where the money comes from?" Marcus shrugged. "I assume they have donors, wealthy Chinese Americans who want to give back. And you've never tried to find out who these donors are, never tried to thank them?" "The fund is anonymous. They don't reveal their donors." "How convenient." My mother was giving me a look. "Rebecca, what's your point?" "My point is that Marcus keeps talking about doing this on his own, but he's had help. A lot of help." "The scholarship isn't help," Marcus said, defensive now. "I earned that based on my merits, my grades, my test scores, my application." "Right, your application. The one that cost $25,000 to put together. GMAT courses, admissions, consultants, application fees. Where did that money come from?" Marcus shifted uncomfortably. "I borrowed that from you. I told you I'd pay it back. You told me a lot of things. I'm still waiting on the $3,000 from your study abroad trip 6 years ago." The table went quiet. My father cleared his throat. "Rebecca, this isn't the time." "When is the time, Dad? When is the time to acknowledge that Marcus hasn't done this alone, that he's had enormous amounts of support?" "We all support each other in this family," my mother said. "That's what families do." "Do they? Because I don't remember anyone supporting me like this. I don't remember anyone paying for my GMAT course or my application fees, or throwing me celebration dinners every time I achieved something." "That's different," my mother said. "You were always so independent. You didn't need help." "I didn't need help. Or you just didn't offer it?" "Rebecca, you're being unfair," Marcus said. "I've worked incredibly hard at Stanford. I have a 3.9 GPA. I got the McKinsey internship through my own networking. I'm nominated for this award because of my achievements. Your achievements that were funded by other people. The scholarship, I interrupted, is me. The Chen Educational Fund is me. I created it. I'm paying for your entire Stanford education. Every penny of tuition that your partial scholarship doesn't cover, it's all me. The room went completely silent. Marcus stared at me. What? $160,000 over 2 years. $8,000 a month every month since September 2023. It's all coming from me. The Chen Educational Fund doesn't exist. It's a shell company I created to pay your tuition without anyone knowing. My mother's face went pale. Rebecca, what are you talking about? I'm talking about the fact that I've paid $136,000 so far for Marcus's MBA. And everyone at this table has spent the last year telling me how he did it all on his own. Marcus looked like he'd been slapped. You paid for Stanford, why didn't you tell me? Because I thought you'd be grateful. I thought maybe, just maybe, you'd realize how much support you were getting and show some humility. But instead, you're giving speeches about overcoming obstacles and succeeding through pure determination. I didn't know, that's the problem. You didn't know, you never asked, you just assumed some magical foundation was giving you free money because you're so special. My father found his voice. Rebecca, if you were helping Marcus, why did you hide it? Because I wanted to see what would happen. I wanted to see if any of you would acknowledge my success, my contributions to this family, but you never did. In your story, I'm just the responsible daughter who does fine. And Marcus is the golden child who does everything on his own. My mother's eyes were filling with tears. We didn't know. If we'd known, you would have what? Thanked me, acknowledged me. Or would you have just found another way to make it about Marcus? I stood up, pulled out my phone. I've been thinking about this for a while, about what happens when I stop helping. About what Marcus's life looks like when he actually has to do it on his own. I opened my banking app, navigated to my scheduled payments. So I'm going to find out. I'm canceling the Chen Educational Fund. Right now. Marcus's eyes went wide. Rebecca, wait. I pressed the button, canceled the recurring payment to Stanford. There, done. The November payment won't go through. Stanford will notify you in a few days that your scholarship funding has been discontinued. You'll need to find another way to pay for your second year. Rebecca, you can't do this. Marcus's voice was panicked now. I'll have to drop out. I'll lose my McKinsey offer. Then I guess you'll have to figure it out on your own. Like you've been claiming to do all along. I grabbed my coat and purse. Rebecca, sit down, my father said. Let's talk about this rationally. I'm done talking. I'm done being invisible. I'm done sacrificing for a family that doesn't see me. I walked toward the door. My mother called after me. Rebecca, please, you're being selfish. I turned around, looked at her. Selfish? I've given Marcus $136,000. I've cautioned loans that don't actually exist because I paid cash instead. I funded his dream while you all took credit for his success. And I'm selfish? She didn't answer. I looked at Marcus. He was pale, shaking. You have 8 days before Stanford realizes the payment isn't coming. 8 days to figure out how to pay for the rest of your MBA. Good luck doing it on your own. I left, drove home to my condo, and waited to see what would happen next. For 3 days, nobody contacted me. No calls, no texts, no apologies. On day 4, my father called. Rebecca, we need to talk. About what? About Marcus, about Stanford, about your decision to withdraw your support. My decision to stop secretly funding his education while he tells everyone he's self-made. You're hurting Marcus to make a point. That's not fair. What's not fair is that I've been invisible in this family for 30 years. What's not fair is that Marcus gets celebrated for achievements I paid for. What's not fair is being called selfish for wanting acknowledgement. We acknowledge you, we're proud of you. When have you ever celebrated me the way you celebrate Marcus? Silence. That's what I thought. Is there anything else, Dad? Marcus needs that money, Rebecca. He can't afford Stanford without it. Then he'll have to find another way, loans, jobs, maybe actually ask for help instead of assuming it'll magically appear. You're his sister, and he's my brother. But that's never seemed to matter before. I hung up. Day 5, my mother called, left a voicemail. Rebecca, I'm sorry you feel unappreciated. That was never our intention. We love you. We're proud of you. But please don't punish Marcus for our mistakes. He didn't know you were paying. This isn't his fault. She was right. It wasn't Marcus's fault he'd been raised as the golden child. But it also wasn't my responsibility to keep sacrificing for him. Day 6, Marcus called. Rebecca, please, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for not appreciating you. I'm sorry for taking credit for things you made possible. I'm sorry for everything. Are you sorry, or are you just sorry you're about to lose your Stanford funding? Both. I'm sorry for both. I should have known something was off. I should have questioned where that scholarship came from. I should have realized you were helping me. Why should you have realized? Everyone's been telling you your whole life that you're special, that you deserve everything. Why would you question it? I know I've been spoiled. I know I've taken advantage. But please, Rebecca, I only have 1 year left. If I drop out now, I lose everything. The McKinsey offer is conditional on graduating. If I don't finish, I have no degree and no job. Not my problem. I'll pay you back every penny, I swear. Once I start at McKinsey, I'll set up a payment plan. I'll give you half my salary if I have to. You've made that promise before. I know, but this time I mean it, please. I'm begging you. I didn't answer right away. Let him sit in the silence. Rebecca, are you there? I'm here. I'm just thinking about all the times I've helped you, all the times I've put your needs before mine, all the times I've been invisible while you shined. I know, I'm sorry. Sorry isn't enough anymore, Marcus. What do you want? Tell me what you want and I'll do it. I want you to tell the truth. What truth? At your leadership award presentation. I want you to tell Stanford the truth about how you financed your education. Tell them about the $25,000 I paid for applications. Tell them about the $136,000 I've paid in tuition. Tell them that your modest background story is fiction because your sister has been bankrolling your dream. Rebecca, I can't do that. If I tell them I lied on my application about my financial situation, they'll rescind my admission. I'll lose everything. Then you'll lose everything because I'm not giving you another penny unless you tell the truth. That's not fair. Fair? You want to talk about fair? You've been lying to everyone for over a year about being self-made. You're about to accept an award for overcoming obstacles you never faced. And you think I'm being unfair by asking you to tell the truth? It'll ruin me. No, it won't. It'll humble you. There's a difference. Marcus was crying now. Actually crying? Please don't make me do this. I'm not making you do anything. I'm giving you a choice. Tell the truth and I'll continue funding your education. Keep lying and you're on your own. Can't I just tell them privately, withdraw from the award competition but not make a public confession? No, because that's still hiding. I want you to understand what it feels like to be exposed. To have everyone see who you really are. Rebecca, you're asking me to destroy my reputation. I'm asking you to be honest. If honesty destroys your reputation, that says more about you than it does about me. I hung up. Day 7, my mother called again. This time I answered. Rebecca, your father and I have been talking. We realize we've made mistakes. We've favored Marcus. We've taken you for granted. We're sorry. Okay. We want to make it right. We want to celebrate you, acknowledge your achievements. We're planning a dinner in your honor next month to recognize your promotion and everything you've accomplished. One dinner doesn't erase 30 years of being second place, Mom. I know. But it's a start. Please, Rebecca, don't punish Marcus for our failures as parents. He's your brother. He needs you. When have I ever needed him? She didn't have an answer. That's the problem, Mom. This family is built on me being needed and Marcus being celebrated. I'm done with that dynamic. What do you want us to do? I want you to stop asking me to save Marcus. I want you to let him face consequences. I want you to see me as more than the responsible daughter who fixes everything. We do see you. No, you don't. You see my usefulness, not me. I hung up again. Day 8, the deadline I'd given Marcus, he called one more time. I'll do it. I'll tell the truth. I'll withdraw from the award and tell Stanford how my education was really funded. Good. But Rebecca, please don't make me do it publicly. Let me tell the administration privately. I'll be honest. I'll accept whatever consequences come, but please don't humiliate me in front of the entire business school. I thought about it, thought about what I really wanted. Did I want revenge? Did I want Marcus humiliated? Or did I just want him to understand, to finally see what I'd sacrificed for him? Fine. Tell the administration privately, but you write me a letter, a real letter, acknowledging everything I've done, apologizing, promising to pay me back. and you share that letter with Mom and Dad. I will, I promise. And Marcus. One more thing. What? At the next family dinner, you tell everyone, you tell aunts, uncles, grandparents, you tell them that Rebecca funded your Stanford education. You give me credit, out loud, in front of everyone. Okay. I will, and you mean it when you say it, not just words, you actually acknowledge what I did. I will, I promise. Thank you, Rebecca, thank you so much. I reinstated the payment. The November tuition went through. And I waited to see if Marcus would keep his word. 2 weeks later, Marcus sent me a letter, a real handwritten letter, 5 pages. He detailed everything. The application costs I'd covered, the tuition I'd paid, the rent I'd subsidized, the total amount. $168,000 over the past 3 years. He apologized for taking me for granted, for accepting help without acknowledging it, for building his success on my invisible sacrifice. He promised to pay me back, laid out a plan. Once he started at McKinsey in June 2025, he'd pay me $3,000 a month until the debt was cleared. It would take about 5 years. He thanked me for believing in him, for supporting him, for being the sister he didn't deserve. It was sincere, raw, real. I cried reading it. He also sent me an email showing he'd withdrawn from the Stanford Leadership Award competition. He'd told the administration the truth about his funding. They were disappointed but appreciated his honesty. No consequences, no expulsion, just a note in his file. The following Sunday, there was a family dinner, big one. Extended family again. Marcus stood up before dessert, asked for everyone's attention. I have something I need to say, something I should have said a long time ago. Everyone looked at him, curious. You've all heard me talk about Stanford, about my scholarship, about doing this on my own, but that's not the truth. My mother's eyes widened. She hadn't known he was going to do this. The truth is that Rebecca paid for my Stanford education, all of it. The MBA applications, the prep courses, the tuition, the living expenses. $168,000 over 3 years. Every achievement I've celebrated, every opportunity I've gotten, it's been possible because of her. The room was dead silent. I didn't know at first. She set up a fake scholarship fund to help me without me knowing, because she's generous, because she loves me, because she wanted me to succeed. He looked at me, his eyes were wet. But I took advantage of that. I accepted her help without appreciating it. I told everyone I did this on my own. I was nominated for an award for overcoming obstacles I never actually faced. All while Rebecca sat silently, watching me take credit for her sacrifices. My aunt was staring at me, my uncle too, everyone was. Rebecca is the most successful person in this family. She makes more money than anyone at this table. She's a vice president at a major tech company. She's brilliant and hardworking and generous. And instead of celebrating her, we've taken her for granted. We've treated her like she's just the responsible older sister who doesn't need attention. Marcus's voice cracked. But she does need attention. She deserves recognition. She deserves to be celebrated. And I'm sorry it took me losing everything to realize that. He raised his glass. To Rebecca, the person who actually made my Stanford dream possible, the sister who sacrificed more than I ever knew. The woman we should have been celebrating all along. Everyone slowly raised their glasses, looking at me, seeing me, maybe for the first time. To Rebecca, they echoed. I felt tears streaming down my face. After dinner, people came up to me one by one. My aunt hugged me. I had no idea you'd done all that. You're incredible. My uncle shook my head. $168,000, Rebecca, that's extraordinary. My grandmother held my hands. I always knew you were special. I'm sorry we didn't show it enough. My parents were last, both of them crying. Rebecca, we failed you, my father said. We got so focused on Marcus that we forgot to see you. That was wrong. We're so sorry, my mother added. We're so proud of you. We should have said that every day. I hugged them both. Thank you. That's all I wanted, just to be seen. Marcus walked me to my car at the end of the night. Thank you for giving me another chance, he said. I won't waste it. I know you won't. I meant what I said about paying you back $3,000 a month starting in July. I believe you. And Rebecca, I'm going to make you proud. I'm going to use this MBA to do something meaningful, something that honors your sacrifice. Just be happy, Marcus, that's all I want. He hugged me, a real hug, the kind we hadn't shared since we were kids. I love you, sis. I love you too. It's April 2025 now. 6 months since that dinner where everything changed. Marcus is finishing his last quarter at Stanford. He's graduating in June, starting at McKinsey in July. True to his word, he's already set up the payment plan. Even sent me $1,000 as a down payment from his signing bonus. But more importantly, he's different. Humbler, more thoughtful, more aware. He calls me every week, not to ask for things, just to talk, to check in, to maintain an actual relationship. He asks about my work, my life, my goals, actually listens when I answer. My parents are different too. They've made an effort to celebrate me, threw me a VP promotion party in December. Invited everyone, made a speech about how proud they are. They've started asking about my life before asking about Marcus. Started treating my achievements as worthy of attention. It's not perfect. 30 years of patterns don't disappear overnight, but it's better, much better. Last month I got engaged to a man named David. He's a doctor, kind, supportive, sees me for who I am. When I told my family, my mother cried happy tears. Rebecca, this is wonderful. Tell us everything about him. She spent an hour asking about David, about our relationship, about our plans. She didn't mention Marcus once. That might seem small, but for me, it was everything. Marcus sent me a text after I announced the engagement. I'm so happy for you, sis. David's a lucky guy. Can I take you both to dinner to celebrate my treat? I want to get to know my future brother-in-law. We went to dinner the following week. Marcus showed up with a gift, a photo album. I've been going through old pictures, he explained. Pictures of us as kids. You were always there for me, always protecting me, always helping me. I wanted you to have these, to remember that even though I didn't appreciate it then, I see it now. I flipped through the album, photos of us at the park. At school events, at family dinners, in every photo I was smiling, taking care of him, being the big sister. Thank you, Marcus, this is really sweet. You deserved better from me, from all of us, but I'm going to spend the rest of my life making it up to you. He's kept that promise so far. At his Stanford graduation next month, he's asked me to be there. Front row, not because I paid for it, but because I'm his sister and he wants to share the moment with me. My parents are coming too, making it a family trip. Celebrating Marcus's graduation and our relationship. It feels different this time, healthier, more balanced. Marcus's Stanford graduation was on Saturday, June 14, 2025. The ceremony was beautiful, held at Stanford Stadium. Thousands of graduates in red robes. Families cheering. When Marcus walked across the stage to receive his diploma, my parents stood up and cheered. So did I, but this time I wasn't invisible. This time I was celebrating my brother's achievement, knowing it was just that. His achievement. Built on work we'd done together. After the ceremony, we took family photos. Marcus insisted I stand next to him in every single one. None of this happens without Rebecca, he told the photographer. She needs to be in the center. At the graduation dinner that night, Marcus gave a speech. 2 years ago, I came to Stanford with big dreams and no money. I thought I'd have to take on massive debt or give up entirely. But my sister, Rebecca, did something incredible. She funded my education without me even knowing. She sacrificed her savings, her stock options, her financial security to give me this opportunity. He looked at me across the table. Rebecca, you're the reason I'm here. You're the reason I have a Stanford MBA. You're the reason I have a job at McKinsey. You're the reason I got to experience these 2 years, and I will spend the rest of my life trying to be worthy of your generosity. Everyone at the table clapped. My parents were crying. I was crying. So this degree isn't really mine, it's ours. We earned it together, and I'm going to make sure everyone knows that. After dinner, Marcus pulled me aside. I have something for you. He handed me an envelope. Inside was a check for $10,000. It's not even close to what I owe you, he said, but it's a start. My signing bonus came through, $30,000. I'm giving you a third of it. And every bonus I get from McKinsey, you'll get a third until I've paid you back completely. Marcus, you don't have to. Yes, I do. You invested in me. Now I'm going to make sure that investment pays off, for both of us. I hugged him. I'm proud of you, not because of Stanford or McKinsey, but because of who you're becoming. I'm becoming who I should have been all along. Thanks to you, it's October 2025 now. 1 year since that dinner where I canceled the payment and everything changed. Marcus has been at McKinsey for 4 months. He's working hard, learning, growing, and true to his word, he's paying me back $3,000 a month every month like clockwork. So far, he's paid me back $18,000, $150,000 to go. But it's not about the money anymore, it's about the relationship. Marcus and I talk multiple times a week, real conversations. About work, life, relationships, goals. He asks my advice on things, career decisions, financial planning, life choices. He treats me like a mentor, a friend, not just a bank. My parents have continued to change too. They've started treating me as an equal to Marcus, celebrating my achievements with the same enthusiasm they show for his. When I got promoted again in August to senior vice president, they threw me a party, invited everyone. Made speeches. My mother's speech made me cry. Rebecca has always been the quiet achiever in our family, the one who didn't need the spotlight. But we realize now that everyone needs to be seen, everyone needs to be celebrated. And Rebecca, we're sorry it took us so long to see you, to really see you. We're so proud of who you are and what you've accomplished. It felt like healing, like closure. My wedding to David is planned for next spring. Marcus is going to be in the wedding party, not out of obligation, but because I want him there, because despite everything, he's my brother, and I love him. The difference now is that he loves me back, not just in words, in actions. Last week, Marcus sent me a text. Remember that Stanford Leadership Award I withdrew from? They created a new award, the Chen Family Award for Sibling Support. It's given to students who had significant help from siblings in achieving their MBA. The first recipient gets $10,000 in recognition at a ceremony. I nominated you to present it. You want me to present an award at Stanford? Yeah, I told them your story, how you funded my education, how you sacrificed for me. They want to honor that. They want to create a tradition of recognizing the family members who make these degrees possible. Marcus, that's incredible. You deserve it. You deserve to be recognized, not just by me, by Stanford, by everyone who benefits from the kind of sacrifice you made. I'm flying to Stanford next month to present the award. My name will be on the program. My story will be told. Finally, I'm visible. Looking back on everything that happened, I've learned some important lessons. First, being the responsible one doesn't mean you have to be invisible. You can take care of others and still demand to be seen. Second, sacrifice without acknowledgement breeds resentment. If you're going to help someone, make sure they know it, not for ego, but for honesty. Third, sometimes the most loving thing you can do is let people face consequences. Marcus didn't grow until he was forced to confront the truth. Fourth, family dynamics can change. It takes work, it takes honesty, but 30 years of patterns can be broken if everyone commits to trying. Fifth, you teach people how to treat you. For 30 years, I taught my family I didn't need attention. I taught them I was fine being second place. When I finally demanded better, they listened. And finally, the truth always comes out. You can hide your generosity for a while, but eventually people need to know. For their sake and yours, I'm Rebecca Chen. I'm 33 years old. I'm a senior vice president at a major tech company. I make $260,000 a year. I paid for my brother's Stanford MBA, $168,000. And for the first time in my life, everyone knows it. I'm not invisible anymore. And that makes all the difference. If this story resonated with you, please like and subscribe. Share it with someone who's always been the responsible one, the forgotten child, the invisible helper. Let them know they deserve to be seen. They deserve to be celebrated, and they deserve to demand better. Stay strong, be honest, and never let anyone make you invisible. Until next time.